Hey, Matt. Since YouTube's changing up their partner system, they're telling us we no longer qualify. We're not going to have any ad revenue in a few weeks.
What else does it say?
Not much. Just, pretty short and sweet, really. What should we do?
You got any copyrighted music?
I'm sure we can find something. We watched a movie today.
SPF-18.
But first, Matthew, all of life can be related through metaphors about what?
Surfing.
Of course. It's undeniable. But all of surfing can be easily relatable through what?
Sex.
Genius. It's a perfect relation. So, through the commutative property, what does that tell us?
Life is sex.
That's all it is. Life is nothing but sex, and that's why you should always be true to yourself.
Because somehow that works.
I guess. That's the moral.
That seems to be the moral in this movie.
Alright, so SPF-18 is a...
I feel like being in therapy, just like Steve, is just like, SPF-18, I have a question to ask.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a moral?
SPF-18 is an independent film written, directed, other stuff by Isaac. Something... No, Israel.
No, Israel. His last name's Israel.
Fuck. Anyway, he'll have it in a second. So, this movie is about a girl named Penny, and she lives in Malibu. She's got a soap opera star.
Alex Israel.
Alex Israel.
Only movie he's done up to this point, by the way.
At least on IMDb.
Yeah.
So she constantly films things, which doesn't ever really come back in any major way.
No, except for the only way it comes, it's the music video at the end.
Anyway,
we'll get to it.
She has a boyfriend named Johnny, and he's a surfer, and his dad died in a surfing thing, and now he's afraid of loss and commitment.
So he's going to art school.
As one does in Malibu. He has a best friend. She has a best friend named Camilla, who's a free spirit, and man, don't even worry about anything. Just, everything's great.
Everything's great. Let's all fuck. She tries so hard to get these guys to bone.
The movie opens with her agreeing to lose her virginity to Johnny. She's telling her best friend how it's a thing she wants to do.
So I'm ready.
So they go to Keanu Reeves' beach house.
That is not a stutter?
That's not a
or mispronunciation or anything like that. It's Keanu Reeves.
And the only reason we know it's Keanu Reeves is that Johnny opens up his entire appearance with pulling a note off of the door of this beach house, and the stuff that says, Keanu Reeves, hey bro, thanks for watching After My House, have fun this week. Or something similar. Why?
I think it was like Mikasa Tsukasa.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Some shit, yeah.
So, this guy's just watching over Keanu Reeves' beach house, because that's everyone in Malibu and just knows everybody. And we'll get to more of that.
They probably do, honestly.
Let's see here. So they fucking Keanu's bed after a night of having fun and dancing and whatever. But then a new guy shows up, and his name is Ash.
Ash.
And he's a musician, but man, he doesn't like what the system's doing to him. They're turning him into a pop star, but he's got more soul than that.
He's got some country.
He owns a saxophone.
Yet he doesn't ever play it the entire fucking movie.
So they let him into their little friend group, and they're getting to know each other. There's a lifeguard named Steve who starts off as another complete dick because he's kind of responsible for Johnny's father being dead because stuff happens. I'm not going to get into it.
Because he was in steroids. He was roiding.
But then he's also let into the group. Penny starts falling for Ash. Johnny's being distant, and then Camilla kind of falls for Johnny. Steve's, and
Steve's so good.
And they go through all this different stuff about like, oh, man, the ownership of things. Man, do you really own the beach? Who owns the fucking and like lucid dreaming and
let's
like,
get to that in a second.
Not wanting to grow up and all that sort of stuff. And in the end, there's all the misunderstandings. Camilla kisses Johnny, and he's like, whoa, I don't really take you seriously because you kind of do this with everyone. She's like, wow, thanks.
And that's actually a good point.
And Penny records a video of Ash playing a song and uploads it, but copyrighted stuff, they get a cease and desist from the record company. And so Ash is like, you had no right to do that. That's my career. You don't know anything about me, blah, 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 blah. And so you have, the second act, oh man, things have never been any worse than this. And then everything just turns around magically. Penny and Johnny are like, hey, we're not really
we're not vibing.
Yeah, we'll go our separate ways, but we're still gonna be great friends. Yeah, nothing bad here. Johnny
Lemonade, this is not.
Johnny gets his dad's surfboard and is like, I'm finally gonna get over my dad's loss and I'm gonna move on and do things that I love again. Nothing bad here. Camilla gets with Johnny, Ash gets with Penny. They record, the whole thing builds up to them recording an original song for Ash that the record company doesn't have any clout over, and it becomes an instant viral hit, and the record company has to now let him do what he wants.
Which makes no sense.
At all. And Steve gets with Pamela Anderson. Yeah.
And then at the very end of the movie...
At the very end. Oh, I love it. They're cleaning up Keanu's house, and... the one girl accidentally knocks over Keanu's disco ball, and then they go out on the beach and they're like, yes, but, friendship is the most important thing. And then Keanu Reeves makes the
real Keanu Reeves.
Walks into his house, looks up at the disco ball where it should have been, and be like,
where's my disco ball?
Credits. Oh my god!
Now!
Best movie!
That would have been the best ending ever if they didn't fuck it up about 30 seconds later with Keanu Reeves and Pamela Anderson sharing a drink.
They're like, hey, I haven't seen you around in a while. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm doing an art film for an old friend of mine. Huh. I can cheers to that.
And I'm guessing that was self-referential bullshit. Like, alright, the thing is, when we were first starting to watch this movie... again, I don't know the details of this, and I'm not going to make any judgments because I don't know. But at the same time, though, the first impression that we got of this is like, this is a rich kid with a lot of access to fucking people that he happens to live next to.
When you get your set to be a literal Malibu beach house, you got some money.
The second thing that says that this thing had money behind it is the soundtrack.
Yes, they had... okay, so this thing's style...
Duran Duran.
Duran Duran, Men Without Hats.
Hungry Like the Wolf was...
That was Duran Duran.
Oh, duh.
They had a lot. Let's just say they had a lot.
They had the opening song that we used here.
Yeah. No, it was like... They had this major soundtrack, but the whole thing had a very retro 80s vibe to it.
Very.
It's the modern day going back and looking at the 80s.
Well, actually,
the same way the 80s looked at the 50s in Greece is the same way that we're looking at the 80s now.
I think so, yeah. I mean, like, one thing that's actually a big kind of send to that is kind of like late 80s, early 90s is the opening credit sequence.
Oh, yeah. It's like all neon colors and bright poppy.
It's got like, and the one other thing that makes it feel like it's from the 80s or early 90s or something like that is the fucking lucid dream sequence.
Yeah.
It's a mix of pixel and 2D animation. Mm-hmm.
With like the color hue changing and like overly saturated.
Yeah, and it has like, I don't even remember the soundtrack. Actually, no, wait.
I'm pulling it up. I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
But no, it was just all around a very 80s vibe to it, and like even the kids, the main characters, all of them.
Yeah.
The girl especially, Camilla. Their outfits were all just straight up like totally. It's like, yeah, no, the retro is the new now, except for Ash. Ash was pretty much just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm bland. Let's see here.
I mean,
the Buggles video killed the radio star.
Yeah.
As soon as they started that, I got angry.
Yeah, when it got to the middle of the movie, we stopped. 20 minutes of the movie, we stopped. Fleetwood Mac is in there too. For like a center 20 minutes of the movie, every 2 minutes on average, we had to stop the film and just kind of take a breather for a second.
Because kept on saying something stupid or just like, are you really? Are you seriously? God damn it.
I pulled booze toward me if I couldn't make it through it. Thankfully, I was able to put it back. Yeah. But at the same time, though, it almost drove me there.
Okay, now I want to just flat out say right now. In the way of, because we've been saying a lot about what this movie is, but not about how we thought about it.
Yeah.
We didn't hate it.
No.
We didn't hate it.
I actually enjoyed myself.
This movie seemed like it was going to go down the most stereotypical path of, it's the cross lovers where they can't get together, and these friends are also discovering things about them.
There's the douchey guy, the artistic guy, and the misunderstood guy.
This is every romance movie, but they twist it in the way that at the point where everything should have gotten more and more miserable, and like they can barely talk to each other anymore, and the yelling matches and none of that, they didn't. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
Which was a relief in a lot of ways.
And like when the couple finally gets to a point where they realize that they're not doing it for each other, they're amicably like, it's all good, it's all cool. And then they said it's like, well, was it the
most
something
likely to stay?
It's like something high is like
former couple.
Yeah, it's like and now they remain like most best friend exes, that type of shit. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a decision that's all made in a week. But not only that, it's also the fact that this happens right after he takes her virginity.
Yeah.
Or I should say, rather than she gives it, because that's really the idea that's in the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, like this is one of those things where it's like the virginity thing means true love.
No.
Like she outright says, it's like, look, I love you, but I don't love you.
Yeah.
Like, we're not there.
And he says that too.
Yeah. And like they come to an understanding. It's like, wow, this is actually really refreshing with people being adults in a romance movie.
Yeah, considering the fact that these people are like just graduated from like high school.
Yeah, they're talking about college plans and stuff.
Yeah, and then all these people are finding out what they like in their lives and stuff like that.
Who
they were going to be.
I can lead to a criticism. I'm going to save that for later. Do you have anything on your notepad that you want to say?
The one thing that I really I had a thought about when we were watching, when they came out with the whole, after the lucid dreaming, she kisses him, singing, and then she's like, don't take me seriously. It reminded me a lot of a webcam comic that I read. It's called Go Get a Roomie. Great webcomic. I recommend everybody go read it and also go support Chloe's Patreon. But at the same time, it's this idea that this free-flowing hippie girl who loves everyone equally has to fully understand what boundaries are. And it was an interesting little tidbit. I wish that was actually much more of the movie, because one thing that does not happen in this movie is nobody really actually undergoes a substantial character arc.
No.
There's no character arcs. A story happens, but everyone pretty much remains the same throughout.
No one changes. Their situations change, but them as people stay the exact same.
And they react the same way to the situations regardless. And also, was it like she was distant to her mom because she was crazy and all that kind of stuff, and then her mom helps her out at the end, but then nothing ever gets reconciled with that plot.
No, I mean, I guess you're supposed. It's one of those things where, like, you can infer that maybe something was changed, but it's not explicitly shown.
No, and again, I don't need everything to be spoon-fed to me, but I need things to be concise. Yeah, it's just it needs to be clear enough so we don't have to be guessing. It's like, okay, is this plot thread tied up?
Like, does her mom usually do this sort of talk, or is this a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing?
Yeah,
it's not. Oh, by the way, the mom was Molly Ringwald. Playing a soap opera star.
Goldie Hawn is the narrator.
Yeah. Like we said, Pamela Anderson made a cameo twice in this movie.
Yeah, well, three times actually. Oh man, I hope they paid you, Pam.
They just keep going and going and going.
It's like, then there's Roseanne Arquette plays the mom
of Johnny.
Yeah.
So she was actually a character. She had something to her. Not really many other people.
Not a hell of a lot. No.
Yeah. Like, there aren't a lot of characters.
There isn't that many cast members.
No.
Which is fine.
Okay, hold on. There was one creepy girl. I want to talk about the girl in the piano.
Oh, yeah.
She never made an appearance before this. She never made an appearance after this. But
I'm gonna use him for my body pillow.
Not quite like that. Pretty close. After Ash is playing a song on the pier,
mouth-breathing motherfucker.
She turns around to what I assume is her mother and was just like, I was like, I think I'm in love. I want to use him as my body pillow. And then they just cut.
No, she doesn't get cut. It cuts back to her, and like the mom and then and Penny, both are like, but like genuinely, not like awkwardly. But I'd be like, what the fuck? She said it like she was gonna turn around and say, I want to skin him and wear him on my face.
Since it was the throwaway character, we made the joke that it should have just been an overweight bearded guy.
Yeah,
saying the same line.
Same line and whatnot. That would have been so great.
Oh, I would have loved it.
Like, the thing is with this movie that I think is the biggest problem with it is that the differences to the genre that they bring are interesting enough on their own right, but everything else is so generic and so kind of watered down and safe that it kind of makes any of that exploration kind of not worthwhile.
It doesn't seem to me like it's a plot movie. It seems to me like the writer-director had a lot of stuff he wanted to get across. The lucid dreaming, the idea of, friendships and whatever else. And yes, he used these characters.
And he used Camilla to spout off tons of rhetoric.
Yes, he's getting across a lot of ideals here. Not that it's a preaching movie. Because it's not. It uses it.
It's not.
It uses it well.
This isn't soapbox at all.
It doesn't take extra time to then expand on plot.
Yeah.
It just uses the same amount of time it has and cuts back on plot in order to fit in that ideas he wanted to have. And that's not terrible because, everyone needs, some sort of idea to their movie. If it's not, it's just a boring whatever.
Something.
But his ideas also weren't 100% like, oh, wow, it's not like the sort of Matrix, because they made multiple Matrix. It's not like Matrix. I was like, wow, that's a brand new way of considering things. No, that's pretty much every way people thought in like the 60s. Free love and like expanding your mind or whatever. So, if you want to get that across to a new audience, great, cool, good on you. But it's nothing brand new.
Yeah, and I can't remember specifically. I should have written it down, but she talks at several points in which when they were like sitting behind, like around the fire or something like that, like a certain like philosophical theories or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But like she was supposed to be like the shaman-esque character, and it's weird because I think on the foundation for this movie, like technically it's not bad at all.
Not at all.
It's well executed.
Its ratings are in the trash though.
The rating, yeah,
trash.
I
remember one of the user reviews on IMDb is my eyes are bleeding.
I don't think it's that bad. Not even close. Honestly, like especially even if we compare this to just the last few movies we've done, this is nowhere near as bad as any of those. And I'm really kind of surprised how strong the backlash is against this movie. Yeah. I find it the thing that was kind of driving me up the wall was the fact of all the fucking celebrity cameos.
They did Keanu at the beginning, which it took me a minute to get to him because he was writing something down on his notepad, and the only reason you could tell it was Keanu was because it
said Keanu.
It said Keanu Reeves at the top. So I was just like, and what was the one line they said? Something excellent pulling him back to the beach.
Yeah, was what led something excellent is pulling him back.
Yes, which is what led directly into the Keanu thing. I'm like, is this a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure joke?
I think it was.
Wow. 80s. 80s.
There are a lot of jokes in this that you can tell are being very referential to movies and and also the movies that these people have been in.
Yeah.
And that's
like the whole thing kind of, Molly Ringwald, of course, you have Breakfast Club and her entire John Hughes collection is just the 80s encapsulated. But the one thing that I wanted to bring up, that was my major problem with the movie, is not even a problem so much as it just kind of... They were doing so many new things that I kind of wish one person didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah, everybody got what they wanted.
Everybody got perfect endings. They all got to be with the people they wanted to be with.
They're doing what they wanted to do.
They all got the jobs they wanted.
Was it like
the douchebag... He wasn't actually a douche. He just came off as a douche to begin with. Steve. He got Pamela Anderson.
At least for a night.
At least, yeah, and that's more than you ever need. But that's the sort of thing, and I'm just trying to comprehend that. Like, all these people got exactly what they wanted, and there was never that downside. I just wish, like, maybe the movie ends with Penny and Ash not explicitly being together.
Yeah.
They're.
She literally, as soon as she broke up, she went right to Ash.
She said the words, me and
Ash broke up.
No, me and Johnny.
Me and Johnny broke
up. And he's like, oh, that's good to know.
Let's suck
It wasn't even 15 seconds. And I understand they had a thing before that.
I get it, but at the same time, though, like...
I just wanted
the scene that they shared before that was just like, you know, he was like saying, it's like, well, whatever your something is, because it was obvious that she was willing to broach that line.
Yeah. He wasn't.
He was not. He was respectful to the unit there, which is kind of funny because it's the other way around. With Camilla was doing the same shit, but on the opposite side of that. So again, like if this movie had an I could see where they wanted to have like kind of these mirrored character dynamics. I don't think that this movie is something that someone didn't put thought into.
No. This wasn't a first draft of a script.
No, but at the same time, though, I think that it was done so safely, like so safely, you've neutered any potential you have with the movie.
Yeah,
it's not. It's enjoyable, like to watch and to kind of laugh at. It's kind of incredulous, but at the same time, though, I would not go so far to say this is a good movie.
No,
I would say this is kind of meh.
I'd say there are aspects of this that are good. There are, like, if you're into that style, if you're into, like, the 80s style, this is great. Like, this is...
But the 80s style only kind of comes around in certain bursts, mostly, like, through the credits, the animation sequence, some of the aspects of their dress, and then the soundtrack. The rest of it takes place in the modern day.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the 80s style of like Stranger Things where it gets
or Drive.
It gets the vibe of what the 80s were actually like. This is the idealized 80s.
Yeah.
This is the Saved by the Bell early years.
On the beach 80s. Like Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, this is that level of 80s.
I mean, they have Pamela Anderson doing the whole Baywatch thing.
Yeah, she literally runs in slow motion on the beach.
Hi, boys. So was that Pamela Anderson? Welcome to Malibu.
No. But,
and I constantly kept saying throughout this movie, I hate these characters.
Yeah, no, that's because they kept on, like, at the end, looking over their entire things, they weren't bad. But it was...
But in the moment?
Individually stupid things they were doing. Was just like, God, why? The motorcycle right away.
Motorcycle right away. Okay. So, I made a point to stop the movie so I could write this down.
Yep.
They're playing music. Ash and Penny are playing music together, giving a little concert for the group there. Johnny gets very huffy, and he leaves in a huff.
What?
Then, this is what happens. He gets dressed, because he was just in a bathing suit. He gets his keys and all the things that he requires, his shoes on and stuff. He gets on his motorcycle, and he leaves. And no one notices, and it's all in the span of 30 seconds.
Like, it's not in the span of 30 seconds, like, in the movie, it is. But it also seems like it's in the span of 30 seconds in context.
Because the amount of time between them stopping playing music and realizing he's gone is insane. Because the amount of time it would take him to go inside...
Get his jacket.
Get everything fully dressed because he was only wearing a bathing suit and a robe or something like that. It's like, you know, get all dressed, laced up and whatnot, go outside to his motorcycle, start it up, go. And they still were playing music by the time that finished.
There dancing and stuff.
And then afterwards,
they cut to a shot of him going into his dad's old surf shed. He did some exploration in that, and only then did they cut back to the party. He's like, did he go to bed or something? And it's like, nah. He rode off on a motorcycle.
Very easily, you should have heard the motorcycle start.
Yeah, like gee, you're playing an acoustic guitar and a saxophone very silently. This isn't a heavy metal band. You can hear a motorcycle. Anyway, little things like that were just like, this is so stupid in the way of like how these characters are written. And Johnny was especially frustrating throughout because he constantly...
He was angsty.
He was angsty.
But angsty for angst's sake. Like, they were talking about, I was like, oh, what can I do? Like, I'm going to surf again to preserve my father's memory.
Like, his whole thing was the Steve ended up being the, like, guy who resulted in his father's death, according to Penny. Like, it is directly his fault. He let him into the group, no problem.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you brought me my dad's old like bracelet thing. Now we're totally cool.
We're chill.
But Ash, hitting on my girl. God, I don't deserve her. I'm leaving. It's like, dude,
I want to listen to My Chemical Romance and switch my hair.
I mean, I don't know who would do that. But no, that's. It's just like, okay, yes, I understand you have your issues. You literally have daddy issues, and that's fine. You are trying, like, you're afraid of losing someone, and you see Ash moving in, and you see the girl going towards him, and I understand that. It's difficult, but that doesn't come about until later that they're really exploring that. In that moment, he just seems like, God, I don't need to be here for this. It's like, okay, well, it's better on a rewatch and then looking back, but in the moment you're like, dude, don't be such a bitch.
Well, the first time that he's distant is when he like first sees Steve again and whatnot, and like, you know, like, okay, I get that because of his relationship to his dad's death and whatnot.
Well, his first time really being distant is the morning after they have sex, because he gets up and just goes out surfing. So I
stand corrected. So he's just being angsty from the get-go. So he's like, I took my girlfriend's virginity. We're so alone.
We're closer now. I feel like I might lose her. I have to distance myself from her so I don't lose her. Listen, I understand when you're in that state of mind, it's difficult to get out of it, but that's also stupid. Stop being stupid.
Stop.
All right. Final thoughts for me.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on this movie. Technically, it's fine. Editing, fine. Acting, fine. Everything, fine. The biggest problem...
It's fine.
The biggest problem with this movie is the fact that, A, it plays it really safe. Like, you can tell where things are going. Like we said, we thought genre-wise it would get much worse, and actually it just stayed more thing. But each beat is the same. Everybody ends up with everybody you think they're going to end up with, and blah. I will admit, I was surprised when Camilla kissed Johnny, because I genuinely didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that either.
But, hey, it's one thing among many things.
And I didn't expect everybody to just kind of be okay at the end.
I will admit, I had money on Keanu Reeves not actually showing up, and they did, so I will give you kudos on that. But all in all, for this movie, does not deserve the hate that we've seen around. It's not great, but it's not like my eyes are bleeding bad. It's just...
Where's my disco ball?
It's just another indie film, so yeah.
Yeah, and my final thoughts is more or less the same thing when it just comes down to the fact that it's a technically okay movie. Nothing flashy, nothing really creative, just kind of by your numbers. The editing is very straightforward for the most part, even though, as we described, some of their there's some time dilation going on here.
Like, we think it's been about a week. There's nothing explicitly that says it was a week.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Again, like, not much of the actual timeline makes sense. And the conflicts that kind of appear serendipitously, and then just kind of correct themselves serendipitously without a whole lot of effort. So there's not really much conflict here. There's not much substance here. But at the same time, though, it's not so painful and so inept or anything like that I didn't actually enjoy it to a degree. By the time, like, the last third of the movie was rolling around, I was laughing quite a bit. Again, at some of the stupidness of it, but it's still at the same time the movie kind of gave me joy. So, overall, I mean, I could at least recommend this movie and at least sit through once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, and that is SPF-18.
SPF-18? Well, that's nowhere near good enough for your complexion. You're gonna want SPF 30 or higher whenever you go outside.
Sunshark, it's the name of the movie. It's not anything to do with sunscreen.
Yeah, we're not going outside. Do you see this paste? Do you really see it?
Well, I'm sorry, but if this movie's about surfing in the sun, why didn't you call me?
Because you're not relevant, Sunshark!
You never will be!
Okay, just go!
No!
Go!
Oh, God. I hate him. He moved forward.
I didn't know we could do that.
Do you know what it's like to be an apex predator and a nuclear reactor?
I can't really say it crosses our minds.
Oh, God, it's a little hot here. Can you back up a bit? Oh.
I'm blinded by my own light. Everything around me is turned to ash. I just want to feel again.
Sunshark, no, please. Stop.
Let me feel.
Sunshark! Stop it!
Let me feel.